I want to go over the easy to miss methods that helped me take my hourly rate as a remote worker from $5 an hour to $100 an hour. I'm giving away all my secrets that help me travel full-time and have a fully remote job that suits my passion for travel and my needs for my chronic illness. For those of you new to this channel, I'm Vivian. I've been to 61 countries since the age of 5. I haven't been back to the US at all since 2018 because I'm on a personal experiment to see how I change if I leave for 5 to 10 years. It's been 8 years and I've never looked back, and a lot of it has to do with finding a fully remote career, and that's here to stay. I've been on the platform Preply teaching English for the last 3 years, and I went from seeing $5 for an hour of work drop into my account to now able to charge $85 for a 50-minute lesson, which translates to $100 an hour. Teaching a language online is an easy, viable side hustle at least. Even if you're in an expensive country, you can create a side income stream from doing, I think 10 hours is enough. It's fast cash flow. It's not like other online opportunities where you really need to build yourself up. Once you teach one lesson, you're gonna get money coming in. I started teaching online with no formal experience beyond volunteering and tutoring kids in various parts of my life. Right when I started wanting to earn money and I was running out of savings, I got to Vietnam, and this is a popular destination for people who want to teach English at an English center. And that's where I was hit with auto racism. When I showed up for my first interview, the lady was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were Asian. I need to check with the parents if they're okay that the teacher looks Vietnamese." They were like, "We'll follow up with you and let you know what they say." And they never followed up. Although in the city that I was in, I was one of the few people with a great American neutral English accent. This center was hiring Russians and Norwegians who had accents and mistakes in their English, and it ended up being a relief and a blessing in disguise for me because I used it to check the online space. I wasn't so interested in teaching 2-year-olds who I don't even think should be in a classroom anyway. I was not very excited to have a work commute in near 100-degree weather to make money at a rate that I had little control over. This American guy around me was telling me that he likes the website Preply. He works 4 hours a day and has charged $7 before commissions per class for years now. That seemed fine to me. At the time, I felt like that would really cover at least rent and some food. And I have painful periods and endometriosis, so having the ability to reschedule easily and full control over that, as well as being able to be close to my bathroom while I work at all times because I have chronic constipation and urinary incontinence, really was a game changer for me. So the first thing that I focused on immediately when I was in the $10 an hour to $30 an hour range was I paid attention to what my students said they liked, and I just did more of it. It's really as simple as that. I was correcting my students on really small mistakes like missing an S, messing up singular and plural conjugations, or mispronouncing a word. And that was really natural for me to do because I can't imagine letting someone who has come to you to get better at your language just go on making mistakes that they didn't realize they were making. But my feedback was that no one else was doing it. My students really valued that I took notes and showed what they were saying and what I would say, and how they missed an S here, they missed a the here, things like that. And it was very easy, and I was being paid to have a conversation. At the beginning, when you want to land your first lesson and you have 0 reviews and 0 lessons taught, people are looking for someone they want to sound like. I had put $10 for a 60-minute lesson and no one booked me. And so I tried to put $8, and then I started getting a lot of bookings and quickly had to increase my price. I was actually taking home $5 because at that time, when you first start out, probably takes a 33% commission. And later on this video, I'll talk about how to offset that so you don't feel it. Another thing was that being a traveler made me interesting. So whatever your hobby is that you can't stop talking about, you really want to highlight that. Right around when I could put my price up to $20 a lesson, one student in their trial lesson told me that they saw full-time traveler in my description and they just knew they had to speak to me. They were sold. Another thing that I noticed that made me better at what I was narrowing into was I have a lot of experience traveling around the world and speaking to English learners or people who are not native speakers. So I have a lot of experience helping people feel understood, understanding different accents, and supporting people to be themselves. That's just what I had in my background without trying. So I would write down a list of things that are kind of your unfair advantages that your friends say you're good at, or that you have this weird amount of experience in that other people don't, and definitely lean into that, especially in the beginning. Another thing is that I speak Spanish and Chinese. For my Chinese students and my Mandarin speaking students, I think when they see someone who is like them, because I am Chinese, they feel more able to be themselves, and I have the ability to translate whatever they want to say. They can express something they feel stuck with in their language, and then I can tell them how I would say it in English. When I get a student that has a beginner level, I can still feel their full personality. I can talk back and forth a little bit in their language, and that really helps them stay motivated and understand core concepts. Make a list, ask your friends friends what you're oddly good at, what they've always admired you for, appreciated about you, and find the things that make you stand out. My students on Preply showing up diligently every week really inspired me to also take on my own tutors and try out Preply. And linked in the description is a 70% off a trial lesson with any tutor on Preply that charges $7 or more. These trial lessons, once you buy them once, you can try up to 3 tutors for one payment. I'm both a tutor and a student. Many of us have done the books for the languages we want to learn. For me, it was Spanish, and we lack a system that makes us show up and that makes us actually speak and retrieve all the knowledge we know in a language on the spot. And so Preply has been the perfect solution to that. It goes hand in hand with Duolingo and watching Netflix in the language, but I would say nothing has changed me in my languages like trying to actually have a conversation where you have to remember what you learned. So the second thing I want to go over is my no looking back mindset. This was really important for me during the whole journey, but it really applied from my $40 an hour to $70 an hour phase. I had to learn how to raise my price on my current students and raise my price on future students. There came a day where I realized no matter how much I was making, I didn't know how to save. That was a really hard pill to swallow, and I had to put my head down and get on YouTube, and I probably typed how to save money. And I found my favorite channel for personal finance advice, and she quickly taught me that the fastest way to make more income is to ask for a raise, and how to always ask yourself, what's my hourly rate? So 2 weeks before every year ends, around December 15th, I asked all my students if they're okay with a $5 increase in my rate. It's so uncomfortable and easy to invent excuses to not do it, but I have felt it helped me grow. I had come up with $5 no matter what the price already was because I can. I'm in charge. I don't have to come up with a percentage of the price. I've gotten backlash from students saying in their business they try to not ever raise it more than 10% because everyone will always say yes, 10%. Well, that is a rule that they came up with that is their limit, and I don't want to have limits. I want to do whatever I want, so I still said $5 anyway. That was a 25% increase for that student, and they ended up saying yes even after the backlash. What they can afford and what's comfortable for them is not my problem, because if they talk to me about how they feel, then I'm going to respond and accommodate it. If they don't want to go up in price, I'm okay with that. I'm not in a position right now to stay cheap for someone else. If I feel like I have more than enough money and I want to really just help people, then I would do it for free as a volunteer. Valuing my time a lot has helped me value other people's time. I wrote down for a specialist that I really want to see. For example, less than a year ago, I paid $1,700 for a 90-minute consultation with an endometriosis specialist because I understood she values her time, she has good things to say, and I met her there at whatever rate she wanted. So it's really important to not play the victim, how you can't make money easily online because you already get the liberty to set your own rate. When the commissions are steep, increase the value of your service that can make it worth it for anyone to meet you for that price. I always advocate teaching your own native language is the best leverage you have, especially in the beginning. Think about it if you want to learn any language. Why would I learn Vietnamese from someone who's not a native Vietnamese speaker? The pronunciation is so different. There's so many things that you want to sound natural in and small things you don't want to miss. As an American based in Vietnam, I meet many foreigners trying to get certified to teach English, and they think there's a great market for English and English is high in demand. And I'm like, have you seen the fact that English has 40,000 profiles already on Preply? I've seen Spanish, Italian, Vietnamese have far fewer. I think this is a great option for people around the world because I've seen Spanish tutors in South America and Central America charging $20, $30 an hour. I've seen Vietnamese tutors charging $20 an hour, which is very good earning compared to the average in Vietnam. It's even hard for me to be a student because I always tell my teachers they need to raise their price. I met an Italian traveler here who's a science fiction writer, but to make money, he's been teaching on Preply as well, and he was in his first year already charging 30 euros an hour. It's very important to ignore the noise, do your own thing, focus on what your students value, not how much competition there is. Also ignore how much anyone else might think you're worth. Ignore how much your friends think you're worth. Ignore how much other students who are not your students think you're worth. Ignore the market price. After every 3 students I get at a certain price, I always used to raise it by $5 more, and I would never look back, no matter who canceled, no matter who stopped subscribing to me, no matter how many students I lost, I would just keep going up. I never let myself put my price lower, even if I felt like I was about to lose students and a roof over my head. And finally, once I got to the higher ranges of being a premium tutor, I realized the only thing stopping me was me. Why am I a $70 tutor and not an $80 tutor? Why am I not making $100 an hour? And the only thing in my own way was me. Once you get to $75 an hour and up, I feel like money psychology becomes the most important. I'm a tutor with 13 5-star reviews. My Vietnamese tutor charging $7, $8 an hour has 30 5-star reviews. So So again, it's just about money psychology. There's nothing unethical about charging a lot of money. It's just that you think it's unethical. But here I am paying doctors $800 per consultation here, $1,700 for consultations there. Don't even get me started on the price of supplements and probiotics that I was prescribed. Once I started to get to the higher numbers, I started to ask myself, why do I have my own formula, my own algorithm, that I have to land 3 subscribed students at every rate before I get to the next $5 rate? The increments definitely helped me not look back before, but now I see them as a self-induced limitation. In the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he wants you to have a target number of money in your mind and to think about it all the time, to be obsessed with it. I see the hourly rate similarly. Your limit is only yourself for whatever that number you're going to write down and obsess over is, and that really translates to your hourly rate. This was recently further confirmed in this lovely book called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. I read this week, no one is going to value you more than you value yourself. Back when he says he was a lot less well-known and his hourly rate was more affordable, he still valued his own time so ridiculously much. He always slapped $5,000 an hour on his time. He wasn't about to go spend time trying to submit forms to figure out how to return a product he didn't like from Amazon if it was faster to just run it to the donation place. He wasn't about to spend his time doing things that he didn't truly love, like cleaning or cooking, when these could be outsourced for less than $5,000 an hour. So that's just some perspective of the power of psychology. Again, there's nothing unethical about charging a lot of money for a simple conversational English lesson, because you're also looking for the supply meets the demand. You're not going to get a student if you're not actually worth that much, but you are getting these students. At a certain level, you start to notice that you're getting more corporate students. That means their companies are paying for their English lessons and they're not even paying out of pocket. So you're almost doing B2B work where you're working with a business. And then I started to notice that sometimes I got some students from Google. Google also reimburses any sort of learning for their employees. As my hourly rate has gone up over time, I've gotten a huge increase in entrepreneurs, people with their own business, people looking for executive English help, a lot of managers. In the earlier stages, I was getting stay-at-home moms, people who wanted to be cheap, people who couldn't really afford very much. And I see everyone as equal, but I'm over here also trying to take care of myself and make my work less exhausting. Now, one class that I teach is worth 10 classes from before. I will say that as I went up, I rose up to my price. I gave better lessons. I was more on time. I dressed better. I spoke with more confidence just because my price tag on my forehead was high. And people feel like they're getting a good tutor when they're not paying a very little amount. And then you feel like you're a good tutor when you're so honored to be paid a high amount and valued for your time. So these days, I'm always asking myself, how can I be the best in the world at what I do? I've taken courses on digital marketing that covered how to make very popping thumbnails on Canva. I've taken courses on how to make engaging videos. I put sales copy concepts into my video on my profile that's attracting new students. I love reading about the principles of business, how to strengthen your mind so that it's bulletproof, or really getting to wherever you see yourself. I started out on a yoga mat with a white wall behind me. I was sitting cross-legged and my desk was a little lap desk. That's how I started growing what ended up being my own business. Preply always advertises that you get to have your own business when you're a tutor on their platform. I see a lot of people dropping off and giving up or complaining because they take a commission for every single lesson you teach. But you can also have the power to offset that commission. Students know that they take a commission, so they understand if you're higher because you're on this platform. Now I work at a full working desk and a full office chair. The only thing stopping you is you. I know that the only thing stopping me is me. Whether it's my $80,000 of upcoming medical costs for a advanced procedure that I need, or earning any target number that I want to. It only takes belief. If you enjoyed this video, you might like this video over here where I go over 4 free ways to travel around the world, because I think remote work goes hand in hand with part-time gigs around the world that give you in exchange free stay. I hope everyone watching this got something out of this video, got a little more confidence to go after what they want to go after. I hope you have a good day.